Intruder Alert entails the reality-bending tale of several families dwelling within the infomercial tapes and real world, suffering a tragic end, with their families destroyed and their most precious member of family, their children, targeted by the cruel and relentless unknown entities referred to as alternates. Hi folks, I'm R, your narrator. Hi folks, I'm Hi folks, I'm you, there. If you can hear this, the only way to defeat him is to tell he's not real. To spread the news that RX is not real, believing that he's not real, and not falling for him being real. It's the only way that he gets weaker. Consider following me on Twitter, where you can communicate with me and send me video suggestions. I have already made a video going over the horrifying story of who the perpetrators are and what they're capable of, which you can watch by hitting the card above. In this video, I will quickly touch on the antagonists, which are referred to as alternates, mainly focusing on the story of Intruder Alert. A man is seen staring without any expression while a robotic voice indicates that they're inside the viewer's home, hence the name Intruder. The tape then skips to an unidentified period in the convoluted timeline which the alternates are able to manipulate. The tape is recorded by the Mandela County Child Endangerment Awareness Association, a tape that is presumably created to raise awareness in regards to how to safeguard children, a possible concerning and recurring issue that the community seems to be battling on a regular basis. The tape explains how children require care and attention from parents to feel loved, but due to daily challenges, parents are typically busy working, finding it difficult to provide as much attention as the children may need. Activities and items such as toys, walks with a stroller, and watching cartoons on family television are said to be some ways to keep children busy and occupied, with TVs, although intuitive and packed with entertainment, being a possible danger to children as they contain adult content as well. That's when the man seen in the beginning of the tape flashes on the TV icon before the tape skips to another point. The narrator continues that certain channels might be harmful to children, such as adult, graphic, sexual, and scary content. That's when suddenly, the tape shifts its typical infomercial tone, with statics heard, with a cryptic line mentioning that they exist on different spectrums, referring to the alternates. The tape mentions if targeted households hear their children screaming or crying, they should avoid entering their room or the TV room until they stop, with the next line being cut out by a static, possibly due to the manipulations of the alternates, as they are able to not only control minds and flow of time, but anything within or outside it, such as pre-recorded tapes or even live broadcasts.
If you hear your child screaming or crying in front of the television, wait until your child stops making noise before entering the room. You will
The tape seemingly tried to inform the victims why they shouldn't enter the room, as they might expose themselves to invading alternates, but alternates wanting to infiltrate and take over more people cut this part out to make people fall for their tricks. The parents in the tape, which are depicted in original icons, although pre-recorded and should play out one specific way, which would originally be avoiding the room until the cry stop, enter the room nonetheless, changing the flow of time and the original recording. The mother, still hearing her child's frantic cries, with the TV still on, checks on the child's bed, witnessing that her child is missing, which is depicted in a realistic photograph than the infomercial icons, in a way portraying that this happened to real parents, with the alternates manipulating and blurring the lines between reality and graphic infomercial human icons. The mother icon then watches the TV, with the alternate still on, presumably still in the midst of taking over the child and switching, when all of a sudden the TV turns off. The mother icon bearing the knowledge of her child being taken and switched by alternates, and that alternates exist and what they're capable of. She's driven into insanity as alternates possess a powerful weapon which they use in something referred to as psychological warfare on humans, leading to the mother ending her life. Then several lines of the same text mentioned that the mother could not handle the sight of her child missing. The tape seems to be post-acknowledgement of the existence of the alternates, sometime later than 1981, as the Temporal Phenomena Department created an infomercial tape mentioning they recently received multiple reports of these unknown organisms. The man staring at the beginning of the tape seems to be an alternate infiltrating anyone's household, as later seen taking the infant. As mentioned in the previous video, alternates are not understood even the slightest, with the authorities first mentioning to hide from them and not interact. Next they say not to show fear and try to shoot them, but they all prove to be pointless and ineffective, as when an alternate targets a household or victim, there's no way they could overcome them. Even the authorities some years later trained their personnel not to engage in calls involving alternate encounters and to just let the victims be taken over, as alternates assimilate with everyone, forgetting that they ever took over the victims, manipulating aspects of time. This man look-alike entity seems to enjoy targeting families and households through TV transmissions, as mentioned through a text that they exist on different spectrums, whether present within Discovered Universe and Realm, Undiscovered Universe and Realm, or reality-breaking and intangible universe and realm. The icon mother, not knowing the original instructions deleted by the alternates, goes to the room whilst the child is still crying. Realizing that the child is in the process of being switched by an alternate, understanding the horrible truth, watching the alternate on the TV, not able to cope with the loss of her child, and the true powers of the alternates. Although an infomercial and just graphic icons, this seems to have somehow happened to real people, depicting the limitless, horrifying powers of alternates and how they do not discriminate in destroying people. Whether child or adult, they simply act on instinct and see humans as puppets to grow and spread with, taking over their households. This incident displayed how they take the place of a child, typically with parents forgetting this ever happened, growing up in the society with no one raising any suspicion. The tape then skips to another warning broadcast, which is an emergency alert how to keep safe in several counties, with Mandela being one of them. It mentions that thousands of children have gone missing after reports indicating that the culprit is scary imagery on TV or other mediums that project such imagery. These reports seem to be speculations of neighboring households who lived to tell the tales, which won't last for long. The emergency broadcast explains that more updates will come, expanding on the reports, with neighboring noise complaints, hearing prolonged childlike crying, followed by loud cracks. Due to the several complaints, an investigator gets sent to survey the subject at home in form of photos and videos. The investigator goes to the house where the occupiers seemingly ended their lives, with childlike cryings being reported. The investigator soon leaves after taking a photo of the house, feeling overwhelming sense of dread, with an on-site officer volunteering to set up camera apparatuses to take photos every 5 minutes in order to provide some sort of security until another investigator comes to the site. The images, after some time, clearly show a mighty entity morphing into human shape, with the victim's corpse being tampered with by invisible forces and presumably cleared off the face of Earth. After some time, the images are back to normal, with the entire investigation department ruling out alternates and assuming it's an unidentified suspect, seemingly assuming it was a person. It then states that the evidence will be sent to higher-ups for further analysis, with these photos never being released to public. There are two possibilities here. First, that the authorities decided to withhold such findings from public, not to raise any concern, and how powerless they are in opposition to alternates. As if the public learns about it, they might become the next targets of the alternates to wipe out any left-behind evidence of themselves. Second possibility is that the alternates already manipulated and controlled the investigators' minds, making them believe it wasn't an alternate, wiping the evidence of the victim ever ending their own life, with the alternate taking over the life. It's possible that when the photos reach the higher-ups, all the evidence will be removed, as the alternate is able to manipulate broadcasts and pre-recorded tapes. The only misunderstood way to battle alternates and survive them seems to be complete ignorance and not knowing about their existence at all. Hence why the emergency personnel are trained to avoid helping or interacting with the targeted victims of alternates, as acknowledging their existence and interacting with them would lead to more casualties and victims. When a person is targeted, it seems that they won't be able to survive the alternates at all, as there hasn't seemingly been any known case of survivors who lived to tell their story. Even if so, general public would forget about them or even the victims for anyone to know such story. If you enjoyed this video, you can stay tuned by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your host Star, and as always, have a fantastic day.